Hi, writers. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Writers, you have been really thinking about the way that poets try on different types of structures when they're writing poetry. So they try out different types, right? Different shapes of poems, different structures. So we have been working, and Wednesday you probably took your poem, your content, and you tried putting it into a conversation poem or a list poem. But really, if we think about it, what we've been doing is really what writers do all the time. They take their topic and they decide what structure they're going to put it into, right? So if I'm thinking about cooking chili with my sister, I could write a letter to someone about how I do this. Or I could write a fiction story about me cooking chili with my sister. Or I could write an opinion piece about it, why cooking chili is so much fun, or eating chili, or chili is the best food. So writers have to think about those structures before they start writing, and that's what good poets do too. So today, what I wanted to teach you is that since poets think all the time, what kind of structure will work for what I have to say, they start to become experts about the different types of writing or the different types of poetry. They really start seeing those minute details in different types of poetry. So let me show you what I mean. All right. So here's a new chart that's available on your Google Classroom. And it's called Reading a Poem with Poet's Eyes. So this is just a reminder, but we've been talking about it for a while. So the first thing that you want to do is when you're reading a poem, you want to read it really slowly, noticing and naming details that you see. So one thing that you can do is you can print out, if you can, these poems, Destiny and Maples in October. And what we can do is we can actually name the details by writing on them. So you might notice some details that I don't. And that's why I want you to be able to have these poems at your disposal and be able to mark them up as you see fit. So obviously, if you're reading a poetry book, you don't really want to mark it up. You could use Post-its if you wanted to name the details you see in the structure that they used. But these are here for you to be able to use and write on. So annotate, mark them up as you see fit. So last time we talked about how we see that she indents to show that someone else is talking. And she uses some words instead of talk. Okay. Let's see. It looks like she's putting periods at the end of every single one. The end of lines. And I can see that she's capitalized the beginning of every line. Okay. So that's what I want you to do today. I want you to see all of the details. Really look at it carefully. Read it slowly to yourself and really think about that. So let's look at Destiny. So read it slowly and notice the details. Some trees will become grandfather clocks, carousel horses, grand pianos, podiums or front porches, totem poles or cathedral doors. Others, pencils, toothpicks, or matches. So we talked about last time how we saw that all of these grand things start with capital letters, right? And I noticed that there was a little indentation here to start the list. And then here, she didn't make a list, but she used commas. And if you're really doing a good job at this, noticing with Poet's eyes, you will see some differences from the one that Mrs. Jerkins wrote out here to the one that she's going to type up, because some things didn't fit on the paper and she had to change poor Christine's poem just a tad. So let's see if you can find those differences too. I also noticed that she put a space kind of between the important things and the not so important things. But I noticed there's no space here between the first line and where she starts the list. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you have poetry books at home, it would be great to be able to mark those up with some Post-its to see what you could see, maybe some different structures that you find. Otherwise, you could probably find some online if you look. There's two more things that I wanted to show you here with the chart that you can also see on the Google Classroom. You want to ask yourself, why might the poet have decided to write like this? Answer this too. And try borrowing some of the same techniques, using them in your poem. So after you do some work, right, marking up some of your poems that we're looking at from other poets, then that's when you can start going in here and saying, okay, I can really go in now and I know what the structure is for the conversation poem or for the list poem. I know what those are. So that's your job for today. Have fun. Bye.